and welcome to another video. It's so lovely to have you here. If you're new here, my name is Kaylee and I'm a creative artist on a journey. I'm in a position where I'm setting up my own art business from zero and working my way up. As someone who thrives on creativity and ideas, I've learned an important lesson. If I don't take time to relax and unwind, my creativity suffers and art block starts knocking on my door. It's so easy to get caught up in the hustle, constantly pushing forward, especially when you're working for yourself, because you have to do all of the jobs. But without moments of rest and stillness, burnout creeps in. And then those ideas that had been streaming in stop flowing, and motivation disappears. For me, one of the best ways to switch off and recharge is to have an activity that doesn't require much brain power. Something I can do that keeps my hands busy and brings me joy, but something that I don't have to think too much about. For me at the moment, it's colouring in. I love that the shapes in the images are already decided for me and all I need to do is to fill in the gaps. Recently, I rediscovered my love for alcohol markers, and after blowing off the dust, they are finally getting used again and I absolutely love using them for colouring in. There's something incredibly calming about focusing on blending colours and filling a page. It's almost meditative. And the best part is when I give myself that time, I come back feeling refreshed with even more energy and new ideas. Now that I'm self-employed full-time, this has become even more important. There's no one to tell me to take a break, so I have to be intentional about it. The risk of burnout is real, and I know that if I don't take care of myself, I won't be able to do my best work. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed, I would encourage you to find that thing, whether it's colouring, reading, writing, walking, or something else. Find that thing that helps you unwind, because sometimes stepping away is exactly what you need to keep moving forward. I thought I would just share a little video of me doing what I like to do to unwind, which is colouring. I found this colouring book and I really love it. It has illustrations only on one side of the page, so you can use things like alcohol markers or anything that might bleed through the page and you don't have to worry about it ruining another picture on the other side. I try not to think about it too much, but I think my method for colouring in is that I try and use one colour and I spread it out across the page in places that I think it makes sense, and then I move on to another colour, and I can always go back if I want to, but I try and make sure that I fill in as much as I can with that one colour at one time, and then I move on. But colouring in is completely up to you. You can do it in whatever style, colour, medium, anything that you want. After this colouring book, I'm definitely changed. I'm definitely going to start looking for colouring books that have only one illustration per page, because I think it's a game changer, especially when you found alcohol markers for colouring in. I think it's great. Another benefit of this is if you wanted to display these anywhere, you definitely could, because you're not going to have a shadow of another picture on the other side. You could also give them as little gifts. I think that would be really cute. So when I'm colouring in, I just like to flick to a random page. I never go in order, and it just depends on the mood that I'm in, sort of what's in my brain at that time. I just look at the pictures and I see which one do I think would bring me the most joy at this time. I chose this one now because it's cute. I like to sometimes think about the story and what I think might be happening, who's who, and it was so funny because I started colouring this in thinking that it was the hippo. I think it's a hippo. I'm gonna call it a hippo. So I thought that it was the hippo that was buying these flowers, but then I realised it's not, because the hippo has the apron on and they must make the bouquets, and the rabbit has a little bit of money, so he must be buying them, or she must be buying them for somebody. And I like to think that the one may be buying them for their grandma, their nana, their mum. And I just try and think about maybe what could be happening in the picture. So I think that's why I picked this one. I definitely change up my colouring in style. Sometimes I'll add in extra patterns, sometimes I'll add in shadows, things like that. I think today I was maybe more, I think I was maybe feeling like I wanted to just keep it simple. I've added in a little bit of shadow here and there on some of the leaves, but I'm just blocking in the colours, and I guess you add it in as you go, just see how you feel. But I didn't really do many special things, I guess, on this one, just keeping it really simple. I've had a really busy few weeks with starting a new business, and I think that sometimes being able to control how simple something is a superpower, and that's sort of what I was doing here. This is maybe my favourite part. I really love the way that this turned out. Just adding in those little shadows of maybe where the leaves overlap, things like that. It just really brought it to life, and it's one of my favourite bits that I like to look at when I flick through and see the ones that I've completed. I just love the way that this plant looks with its little shadows, and yeah, it's just cute. So I'm adding in a pop of colour now, because when I was looking at it, I was thinking it was a little bit bland. It needed some pizzazz, if you like, and so I added in this bright red on the bow and on the scissors, and then I spotted in the background there's this little roll with little hearts on, and I thought that is perfect. It sort of has little February Valentine's theme, maybe Mother's Day even as well. And although it's maybe supposed to be festive because there is a Christmas tree and I think they're wearing a Christmas hat, I'm not going to make it festive. I'm going to try and make it look somewhat Mother's Day, February-ish. Okay, so onto the hat, and it obviously looks like it's a Santa hat, like a Christmas hat would be normally white and red. But as I said earlier, I've decided I'm not gonna make it Christmassy at all. I'm gonna try and disguise the fact that it is holiday themed, and I'm gonna give him a purple hat. So I coloured in the fluffy bits of his hat purple, and I left the middle bit because I hadn't quite decided on what colour it should be, and then I'll come back in a little bit later. I did have to do a little bit of thinking for this bit because I couldn't quite put together what this background was, but I think I figured it out. I think behind the rabbit, this is out of a window, and then I realised I'd coloured in a bit of the brick thinking it was the earmuffs, but that's okay. And then I thought, well, I've brought in this lovely bright yellowy orange. I'm going to continue that for one of the walls and just really brighten it up. I really love this pop of yellow. I think it was an excellent choice. And I will definitely consider a bright yellow wall in the future. I then continued the yellow on the floor just because I wanted to. I think it looks really good. Maybe if I was decorating my own house, I wouldn't have a yellow floor and yellow walls, but I could be wrong, you know? But in this world, it's not real, it's just a colouring in, and so I was just taking some creative liberties and went for it. Okay, so here I did change my mind. Again, very low brain power, not really thinking about it. But I decided that I did want to hide this Christmas tree. I thought that it's a little bit distracting. It's kind of losing the not holiday vibe feeling. And so I went for a dark colour, and I thought, adding that in just breaks it up. It's very flat at the moment. And so I went really dark, and I went for this dark grey to sort of conceal this Christmas tree, maybe make it look like a pattern. If I was to go back, I would just do all 4 of these panels this colour, but spoiler alert, I did not. I wanted to keep the strings though, I didn't want to cover over those, so I tried really hard to leave like a really fine line. And it really gave a good effect. It sort of gave the effect that maybe the light was hitting off it more on one side, which I'm not mad about. And then added in this same dark colour on the bench, and I think it tied it all together. I really loved this colouring book. Honestly, I need to buy more. You'll see at the end I flick through sort of how many I've done and how many I've got left, and I haven't had it for very long. So I might need to stock up on different ones. So if you have any suggestions on colouring books that are similar to this one in the sense that they have illustrations only on one side, because I think going forward that's gonna be all I'm gonna be looking for. I don't mind what the images are. I mean, these are really cute, but the colouring book I had before this one was mythical creatures, so it was like dragons and things like that, and I really enjoyed that one. So the topic doesn't really matter as much as I need the freedom to be able to use these alcohol markers and not worry that I'm like choosing one picture over another one. So any suggestions would be really appreciated. So I'm coming really close to the end. I'm almost finished, and I just wanted to remind you that burnout is real, and if you can, take some time. It doesn't have to be every day, it doesn't even have to be regularly, just when you need it. Have something that you could do, so writing or colouring in like this, or even just sitting down and watching someone else colour in. I sometimes do that. That's definitely valid, because when you're feeling overwhelmed, it's just a little escape. And I'm gonna say it again, sometimes stepping away is exactly what you need to move forward. And I think that is something that I'm gonna live by, because it's okay just to step away. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!